Since the Fibonacci retracement is easily the most popular and well-known Fibonacci tool, you probably already know that it's based on a trend. In this case, we can place it on this downtrend from the high to the low. And there are those familiar numbers from 0 to 1 in those familiar colors. You could choose whichever colors you want and how that's formatted, and you can pay attention to whichever numbers you want. There's actually no exact preferred numbers in most cases, even though most people tend to focus on 0.5 and 0.618. The more important concept is that this is a sort of measuring tool of when price can get overextended. So if price moves 3 or more Fibonacci levels without reversing, it is more likely to reverse direction, in other words, retrace. Also, even with a relatively well-proportioned trend that isn't too small or too large, like in this case, not all swing points will be captured, especially after several retracements have already happened. And not all swing points will be captured neatly on the lines, at all, in some cases. Fibonacci levels can also be broken through, especially with high volume like this, selling volume going down. Or consistent volume like these cases, where there's consistent green, but not at above average levels. In any case, the idea is the same again. The move gets exhausted when price has gone 3 or more levels without reversing direction. It becomes overextended, and there's a tendency to retrace. Then, to increase the effectiveness of the standard Fibonacci retracement, you could add another analysis method, like another Fibonacci tool. In this case, we could add the element of time using the trend-based Fibonacci time tool, since this trend is of a moderate size. As covered in the tutorial on the trend-based Fibonacci time tool, there tend to be notable swing points and continuations as price nears intersections between the two Fib tools. And all those other intersections where price does not come close to do not become relevant. When price is relatively range-bound and fully reverses the length of the previous trend, like in this case, Fibonacci retracement levels can remain relevant for quite a while. But even then, not all swing points will necessarily be covered or covered cleanly, regardless of the exact trend and price range chosen. And that's just a realistic reminder that this, like any other tool or analysis method, isn't perfect 100% of the time. Now here's an example where it's a chart with a trend covering a much larger price range with greater volatility, because it's when this stock made its IPO debut. Nonetheless, it demonstrates how the levels from the Fibonacci retracement can often highlight more significant swing points. But it is still possible to miss some of them. Yet it can still generally mark the more important ones, like the downswings in this case. And even with a much wider price range, there's still that aspect we discussed at the beginning, where price will have a higher tendency to change direction once it's gone past 3 or more retracement levels. And when that change in direction happens, it's more likely to be a larger reversal. If you remember from other videos covering the Fibonacci time zone, it can be applied almost right away when the stock begins trading and the clear downtrend begins to form. But after the 13 line, it becomes less reliable once intervals are much farther apart. When the uptrend starts to emerge, we can place the Fib time zone on the first minor upswing in this new bullish context. And it turns out to be quite an exceptional case, where many swing points, even those at 13 and after, are quite neatly forming around the time of most all the time zone lines. But these vertical lines don't always intersect to narrow down in a more precise location in terms of time and price range because of the much wider spacing between the retracement levels, and to some extent the time zone lines after 13. So the levels can be brought closer together in a proportional way, where the first point goes down to a more significant downswing point after the downtrend gets underway. Roughly so that also the 1.618 level is close to the trend's beginning, which in this case is the high during the stock's IPO. And that produces a more compact but still proportional set of retracement levels that get more precise intersections. And even when there are no intersections between time zone lines, there is more precise coverage of those minor swing points that form more neatly on this new set of retracement levels. But again, not all of them will necessarily be covered. Let's look at an example with another large trend, but in more of a long-term continuation context, where we place the Fibonacci retracement on this clear downtrend. Then when price recovers to those previous highs, and historic resistance starts reversing roles to become crucial support and price holds. There's a tendency for price to head towards the 1.618 extension level. When that does indeed happen, and price promptly starts reversing from that area, we can place another Fibonacci retracement from an upswing at that role reversal area to the recent downswing at the 1.618 extension level of the original placement. And this new smaller retracement range does see price fall about 3 levels before it makes a significant return to a bullish stance with a double bottom reversal, which strongly continues the long-term uptrend. Here's a case where price is relatively range-bound in the long, medium, and short term. When we base a Fibonacci retracement on the most recent significant uptrend, it's large, but not too large, still covering lots of notable swing points consistently. But to make it better, we could just shorten it by going to the next clear upswing point. This narrower range does get better precision, and it's still quite valid with levels. Since it's not an exceedingly large uptrend, we just shorten it to the next clear upswing point. But if we wanted to get more proportioned, we could try to go to a higher upswing point and have the 1.618 extension level line up with clear swing points, most notably around the continuation area of the uptrend, which later becomes a major support range during the current bearish to neutral phase. But no matter which points you choose to base the Fibonacci levels on, an additional layer of validity can be added by using Bollinger Bands, which become especially useful to identify more likely areas when support is stronger, since price reaches Fibonacci levels and is near the lower Bollinger Band, indicating that price is bearishly overextended in the medium to short-term context, which is very useful in highly range-bound situations like this.